Presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 and use the promo code Welcome to Light Years. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate everyone there. Andy, obviously didn't go live because there's football yesterday, and that was kind of a sad way to go out, but also predictable on that front. Not really going to rehash it. I don't think people need to hear that in general. But I will say, I did have a little FOMO when the Warriors game ended, being like, damn, should we have gone live last night? Because they are in a good space right now. Steve Kerr said it.
Vibes are good.
The vibes are back to the positive range, and we got a special guest with us today too.
Yes,
so let's bring him up here
at long last
from the SF Standard, your second favorite writer, Danny Emerman. Danny, what's up, man? Sorry, TK is a legend.
What's going on, guys? It's an honor and a privilege, and there's no no shame in being second best here.
I mean, we're all number 2 to TK. That's just life. So. We're number two at what we do.
You think TK was at Chase instead of Lumen Field last night? You think TK was covering
that TK was in Seattle last night?
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's Warriors from here on out. So, Danny, appreciate you, dude. We got some good stuff to talk about. I feel like last time we talked, it was a
little more doom and gloom.
Yeah, we're gonna ignore that. We're going straight to the good stuff.
Yeah, I'll start with that, Danny. Do you get the sense that like the vibes are shifting here? I mean, obviously they finally are home. The schedule is in their favor, and they're taking care of business. They look like what I thought they would look like coming into the season. The last 3 weeks, it seems like pretty much since Melton shook the rust off of the first, call it 5-10 games post injury, he's really injected life into them. And they look great. He's been the story of the last 2 weeks, but it really does feel like ever since Christmas, which was kind of his breakout game, they've kind of turned a corner. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, they always like to say that they are what their record is, and in their record in the last 15 games, they're 11-4. And they're playing really well. They're shooting the cover off the ball this week, which is something that I was kind of tracking earlier. When this homestand started, it seemed like they were creating a ton of good shots and they weren't going in. I wrote this whole story. I think 45% of their shots were open or wide open. Since then, they went from 15th in the league in 3-point percentage to 11th. So it's starting to trend in the right direction. And I guess my question to you guys is like, how real is that? Is that positive regression because they were due to get, to hit more open looks, or is it?
Dude, I was going to ask you.
Shooters and they're on a hot streak right now.
I was going to ask you because I read the article and I was like, but I mean, it's 11-4. I think when it doesn't feel like that to me sometimes, but the last couple games I'm like, okay, yeah, now it looks like it's 11-4. I will say this though, the shots that they're getting that are open. This is a vibes thing. This is not a, hey, I'm going to show it to you X's and O wise. It does feel like they're moving the ball the way that the 2022 Warriors got open shots versus like, hey, Steph is going to get doubled and we're going to throw it around and hopefully get an open shot. And it's still open technically, but the way that they're moving it now, and I think part of it is Melton, where Melton is like the only guy outside of Steph and Jimmy that can get to the hole kind of at will. I didn't actually know he was that good getting to the hole, but when he does, right, it makes it so that, hey, Paz is open, Moody's open. So I think the shots are better because they have better playmaking. And then secondly, yeah, man, I mean, Moody and Pods, they shoot better at home or whatever. I don't know. Maybe Moody's especially streaky. He confounds me. It confounds me because some weeks he'll just shoot 58%, I think, like he is right now, and then he'll go 33%, a month from now or whatever. It blows my mind. But Sam, you're
I was gonna add to it. Like, is it real? Is it fake? It's probably somewhere in the middle. But the part that does feel real to me is the process. I haven't gone into the numbers on this, but it does feel like since Melton has kind of shaken off the rust and gotten really back in the rotation. And Will Richard's been more of a mainstay. You could throw Guy Santos. I know he didn't play last night. He's hurt right now, but like over the last 15 games, he's kind of been a regular. they're a little more athletic around their main guys, and they need that, but they're not athletic for athletics sake. They're athletic with guys who know how to play basketball and play, what does Steve always like to say, like half-second decisions.
Mhm.
So part of it is they're getting in transition more. They're getting easier shots that way. So that also allows them to inevitably have that regression, because it's going to happen. They're going to have a night where they go, 10 for 40 from three. It might be, the first road game when they go to Dallas or something next week, right? Like those things are going to happen. But if they're moving the ball like this, playing defense and able to get out in transition a little more, they're not so dependent on three-pointers. I think I agree with Andy. I feel like the first part of the season, it was just bailout threes. And it was just kind of like, well, if they hit them, they win. And if they don't, they lose. But there was nothing really being generated. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely – look, I think the biggest thing for me is the formula is clear. The formula is you want to surround Steph and Jimmy and Draymond with as many 3 and D guys who can actually play at the Warriors' mental pace as possible. Easier said than done to find them. But, Melton is like the best version of that. Guy Santos can do it. Now, is he talented enough? I don't know. But like he's getting you through dog days in January for sure. Will Richard can do it. Will Richard plays the game faster mentally than like Moody and Pods half the time. And I think a lot of it is just like having young legs who can play at the same mental speed as the veterans. Now they don't look unathletic. They're still kind of small, but they look like when they go against some of these younger teams, like they're closer in athleticism to them. And I know you guys feel the same way. Like some of those early season games against like Portland, they just looked so physically overmatched.
Yeah. I think it's important to note that they've looked, about as athletic recently as their opponents, and they have been shooting the cover off the ball. Again, that might change when they play a real team. This is a really soft portion of their schedule. Even the good teams that they've played have been missing some of their best players. It's not, unlike their 23-8 stretch last year. So it is really difficult to parse through what is real, what is fake. It's tough to know. And even internally, there are people I talk to that aren't really sure. That's kind of what the dog days are all about. All these other teams around the league are struggling too. I think the Spurs went through a 5-5 stretch, and the Cavs are starting to play better. Other teams have gone 4-6 in their last 10. The Rockets have hit a rough patch. This is a weird part of the schedule. A lot of guys are hurt. I'm not sure how much is real. There are a few things I do think are real though. I think Melton's real. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be able to get into the paint all the time. He loves going to his left, and nobody can really stop him, which is something that he flashed last year in the first 6 games, but people probably didn't remember it, which is normal. Obviously, it's hard to remember things a year ago. Like, I don't even remember what happened, last week. If you read the news, I have no idea what the fuck happened today. I think that's real. I think the turnovers are real. They've really limited them. Draymond has limited them, and he's played a lot better. And those are 2 huge, huge keys. If the shooting's real, then those are 3 things that can really be consistent, and those are 3 things that could make them, a really strong, legitimate team.
When you say you talk to people internally and they don't know how real it is,
I was just about to go to that. I was just going to bring us back to that.
Well, it means pretty much what we're talking about, like this kind of conversation, this tenor, what is real, what's not, how to look at that from a big picture standpoint, how to evaluate the current team.
Let me take it to the question we mean to ask.
Yes.
Do you think this stretch is going to change the way they're approaching the next 2 weeks in the deadline?
Yeah.
I think it could. I think it could for a lot of teams. I think this is the portion of the season in the weeks leading up to the deadline where teams pick a direction one way or another. And a lot of the teams on the bubble, which the Warriors are, they can really swing with a 7-3 stretch or a 3-7 stretch. a team like the Cavaliers are in that boat right now. They're starting to play a lot better. If they didn't, I think that's a team that could go one direction. That would be kind of surprising. But yeah, I mean, in general, in the league, like this is the point in the year where teams gotta pick a direction, and the Warriors, their direction, is somewhat expedited because of the whole Kuminga thing. January 15th is earlier than February 5th, but they're going to be patient. I know you guys probably want to talk about it. They're going to look for whatever the best deal is they can make.
We'll get to it. I think going back to your point, the if they're having questions about whether the stretch is real or not, and then making a decision off of what trade to make off whether it's real or not, it's pretty embarrassing. Like that's like that's the part where it's like, hey man, like this has been years of this, years, buddy. You don't need a 5-game stretch to tell you whether this is real or not. Like that's all just window dressing, right? Like it's dude, we've seen Moody play forever. We've seen Pause play forever. Like you're not going to convince me one way or another whether those two guys are terrible players or going to be great players. They're fine players. Like don't delude yourself, and this is not you, but like it's like don't delude yourself into thinking like, oh my God, Moses Moody, we can't fucking trade him now. He's a 55% 3-point shooter. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Cannot move him. We're gonna need Giannis. Like, guys, this is what the Warriors have done every single season. Go ahead, Danny. Looks like
I don't think it's as related to this specific deadline as you might assume. I just think this is how front office people, coaches think about a season. And yeah, you're right. Like they know what kind of player Moses Moody is, and they're not making their decisions up to the deadline solely based off how the team is playing. But it is a factor, and it's a factor for every team. Like you just have to be realistic there. I don't think that specific point is worth, getting up in arms about.
Yeah. I'm tired of these guys. But they are playing well. But they're playing well. So it's it is like that is the good part of this team right now, where it's January 18th, and they are in one of their good stretches.
It's a good time to play well.
I'm trying to decide if this is going to go all the way down to the wire or not. And I'm pretty much leaning it is. It just seems like there's too many other teams that want to stretch this to the deadline that it's going to impact the Warriors. I don't know if you feel the same way, Danny, but it just seems like there's these star caliber players. One's honestly the Warriors are not interested. Like the Warriors don't want John Morant, they don't want Zion.
No.
But like their movement dictates how other teams operate. Does that make Trey Murphy or Herb Jones available next? Does that make, the team that doesn't get Ja, are they more amenable to making a deal with you? Like a lot of that stuff. So it seems to me like we're in a major holding pattern with this, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, we're always in a holding pattern. We're always, just.
I've said I'm going to give them until February 5th. I'm not going to lose my mind until then. There'll be no crashing out until the 5th, but they will not want to hear what I have to say on the 5th if they disappoint.
Holding. No, you're gonna wait until the off season. That's what you're gonna do. They're gonna spin that one. Danny, go.
Nah, let's just do it right now. They cannot have Kuminga on the roster after the 5th. They just can't. Forget like even if you move him for anything that helps you. I just feel like the cloud hanging over it and the drama, and his agent's gonna get super angry, and it's gonna just be like they would be better off just trading him for nothing than keeping him around at this point.
I would have traded him for nothing years ago, but yeah, that's what I would have done. Wasted my time.
Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. You're right. It would be completely untenable to keep him past the deadline. I've heard that there's like a slim chance that happens. It's not anyone's preferred, path, but anything is possible.
Nobody's buying that. That's spin you put out there to try to take you have no leverage, Warriors. You mishandled the whole thing.
Yeah, I generally agree. This should have been taken care of a long time ago. And I think there's people in the organization that have regrets about that. There's some people who, think about it more pragmatically, whatever you want to talk about. There's no real reason to relitigate it. And yeah, I mean, Kuminga can't be on the team after February 5th. It wouldn't make any sense for him or for the Warriors. You trade him now because his value is higher than it's going to be in the summer. It is. This is the most tradable contract possible, and that's why multiple teams.
You think it's bad with 20 DMPs? See what it looks like with 60 DMPs. You know,
and he's just an expiring after this year. You know, right now he's either an expiring or a flyer, and you can have the option to extend him. Like, there's a ton of optionality, or you get cap relief instantly. So that contract is as tradable as a contract can possibly be. There are multiple teams who have interest either in the contract or the player. So you've got to either pit those teams against each other or just take whatever they're offering, you know, if it's whatever the Kings have to offer, which they haven't really offered them anything serious or anything the Warriors have deemed serious.
It's just poo-poo platters of disgusting offers. Devin Carter in a second.
At some point, if that's the best offer, you've got to take it. So
that does remind me of it reminds me of the Wiseman where they just, I mean, that was worse than poo-poo platter, dude. Like they traded back for GP2 who was injured. That was brutal. They actually got Sadiq Bey, who, you know, I think GP2's fine, whatever. But like Sadiq Bey, I was like, I'd rather have him, to be honest. And then they flipped him over for GP2, and I think they got a bunch of picks or something, or I forget. But maybe they moved that along. But anyway, that was pretty brutal. And Wiseman's a much worse player than Kuminga. Kuminga at least could play. And Wiseman's terrible. So it's like, you can imagine Devin Carter. You know what I mean? Devin Carter's not even an NBA player. And Malik Monk, who has like 2 more years left on his contract. Anyway, I don't know how we got on this. I don't know if, Sam, you wanted to wait to get to this, but
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's I actually want to ask you your favorite trade targets, but let's do a quick ad read first.
Yeah. Okay. Light Years Podcast. We are brought to you guys by Prize Picks. Our friends at Prize Picks. We're recording this right now on Sunday. I got a couple football games. I've got college football championship tomorrow, so you can bet on you can go with the more or less, maybe more probably on Sam's future QB1, Fernando Mendoza, actually ex-Cal Golden Bear. So you know, that's the guy. I don't know anything about college football. I know him though. Heisman Trophy winner, pretty good. Prize Picks also now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. So, as you all know, very easy. Download the app today. Use code LightYears. Get $50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LightYears to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
It is good to be right. All right, guys. Good to talk to you about Thrive City real quick. Really excited about this one. New year, same chaos. But what if your pantry could actually make life easier? Running a home is already enough. You shouldn't also have to be an ingredient detective. Thrive Market does the vetting with over 1,000 restricted ingredients, vetted brands, trusted staples. They make it easy with thousands of healthier swaps for things for your kids. Thrive's app makes it easy to shop for your family's need without endless label reading. I use it, lifesaver, particularly for getting healthy snacks for my son. So I can't speak positively enough about Thrive Market. Really kind of changed everything and made life a lot easier for me. Guys, join Thrive Market with my link, thrivemarket.com/lightyears for 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. That's thrivemarket.com/lightyears for 30% off your first order, plus a free gift. All right. Okay. So Danny, thinking about Kuminga in terms of his distressed trade value right now, what are you looking for the Warriors to do that can actually help them and give them, well, like one, they're inching pretty close to getting out of the play-in. So I'd say goal number one is getting a player that's going to help you get out of the play-in and be top 6. And then number 2 would be, can that player help you have a better shot in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to look at it. I don't really get the whole valuing expiring contracts thing. You know, I get it like in a vacuum, but
For
the Warriors
them, you mean?
Warriors prioritizing expiring contracts. That doesn't really
Why do you think they want to do that?
It's possible they want to just have their books clean, but they're already really, really clean. And having an expiring contract isn't as valuable if you're thinking about maybe flipping it again for another trade. So that doesn't really pass.
Because Kuminga's already an expiring contract. So like if the goal is to just have something that's not taking money back, you already have that.
I
have two thoughts.
Good players who can help.
I have
two thoughts
that. I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm not putting too much stock in any of that stuff. It seems like they're evaluating all options. If they just get rid of Kuminga, it probably makes it easier to re-sign Melton in the offseason. But it could just be a thing where they're trying to work out a 3 or 4 team trade and they just need money to work in a different way. So they're seeing what their options are. Because there's probably teams out there who don't even want Kuminga around their team. Like the Nets are a very popular example here. The Nets clearly just want draft picks, but they've shown no interest in wanting to have Kuminga on their roster.
The Nets are not a Kuminga team.
Yeah, so like they might actually find it more attractive to have like send Kuminga to the Lakers, get a couple second round picks, and then send the Lakers expiring contracts like Gabe Vincent or Rui Hachimura to the Nets just because they don't want to have to deal with it. Like that's a pot. I don't know.
Yeah,
that feels very like I'm stretching right there, but maybe.
Yeah, the Nets are tricky. I'm not sure the Nets are as easy, as natural a trade partner for the Warriors as people assume they are. I think one thing to look at with the Nets is in their whole exchange of picks, they gave up a ton of picks for Durant, for Harden, and then they got back a bunch of picks in dishing out those guys. They don't have their own pick next year in all of that transaction, nonsense. So they want to be good next year because they don't own their own pick. Part of being good next year might include having Michael Porter Jr. on their team. So I think, and Michael Porter Jr. is young. He's in his prime. He's not going to be super expensive on an extension because of his injury history. I have a feeling, Brooklyn probably has Michael Porter Jr. in their plans, but if they got bowled over by an offer, they'd be willing to part with him.
So on the MPJ stuff with the Nets, I hadn't had a chance to do a pod on this take, but I've been kind of thinking about it. I think teams are so bad with selling high. Just get rid of him. And I'm selfish because I'm a Warriors fan, so I would love MPJ. But it's like, dude, he's not like, this is obviously something that MPJ, like, this is not sustainable. Dude, MPJ's been in the league forever, man. Like, this isn't third year MPJ and he's getting minutes and he's going to be a superstar. This is as good as he's going to get. Like, sell high on, like, and I say this for the Pelicans too, especially where you're a team that's rebuilding. Dude, just get rid of him, get the picks, clean him off the books. Like, he's not part of your next whatever.
Yeah, but if you don't have your
stage.
own pick, that's tricky because then you're just going to lose and give another team the player that you wanted with that pick.
But if you can get the Warriors post and the Warriors, whatever, man, they're wusses. They won't do it at this point. We know that. They're not going to get MPJ. They're too scared. But it's like, if you can get another team to get you 2 first rounds and they're unprotected, but I wouldn't hold on. And maybe MPJ is not the best one for this because, like you guys are saying, they don't have their own picks. But like New Orleans, right? That's another one. Even though they traded their first round pick, like
they also don't have their own pick, which complicates
teams,
everything.
Man. This dumbass teams. But it's like Trey Murphy. If you can get 4 picks, what Desmond Bain go for 4 picks? Like, dude, Trey Murphy is not part of your next. Like, Fears and Queen are like 3 years away. Man, like, just go and sell high off these guys. Murphy never plays. Herb Jones always hurt. Like, these guys are just go and go build and get rid of these guys and go to the end. But I get it. These orgs, they have to pretend like they care about winning. But man, Pels never win. Nets never win. So it's like, it's smart to go, if I were them, just to sell high off these guys, especially when they're not stars. Like Bain and Trey Murphy, they're not the same type of players, but they're kind of the same, like third best player on a playoff team. Like, if he's your third guy, that's awesome. But like Pels, you don't have, like, Zion's a like good joke. Like, are you really building around him? Right. Like, so that's I wish that were the case only because then the Warriors would do it. But then it's like, well, the Warriors also wouldn't do it because they wouldn't give up picks. So it's a lose-lose for everyone involved. I just wish teams would sell high more.
Yeah.
But that's
No, I think that theory, that take is sharp. I'll give you two examples that are somewhat relevant, that I think are relevant to that point, but probably more relevant to the Warriors situation. The Thunder, when they had Josh Giddey and they recognized that he's a good
They're
player,
smart.
but he's not part of their plans, they decided to move him for Josh Giddey. It wasn't exactly a sell high because he was coming off kind of a down year where he got a little bit benched in the playoffs, but he was a good player. Everyone in the league recognized that he had some skills, and the Thunder recognized that he wasn't going to be part of their core moving forward. So they moved him. They didn't demand a star player. They wanted Alex Caruso, a player they identified as someone who could help win them a championship, and he did. That's the type of trade that the Warriors have not – they've been averse to making.
Well, he's a star in his role, and that's kind of how I'm looking at this. Like, can the Warriors So I think I'm going to take this back to where we started. I think they are one bigger wing away from being highly dangerous. Like the formula of surrounding the old, the big three, whatever you want to call them, like the OGs, with young 3-and-D players really works if they're the right ones. Will Richards honestly playing well above what you would ever expect from a guy that who's a rookie, but he is a rookie, and he's probably, you don't want him guarding like Luka and like these bigger wings. Like, what is he, 6'4", maybe 6'5"?
Yeah.
6'5" with shoes. Yeah. If they could add, what Klay Thompson was or what Andrew Wiggins was for them, which is like a 6'7" two-way wing, which everyone wants. Now Will Richard is moving to stop it. Now Will Richard's moving to off the bench. And yeah, you're still kind of betting that Draymond has that gear in the playoffs, but like, I like that lineup. I like the lineup of Steph, Melton, let's call it the dream scenario, Trey Murphy, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond.
Bro, dude,
Yeah.
Come on. That's
so
ridiculous.
Now I don't know that
dream.
one's out there, but I'm wondering if, we've seen Wiggins' name floated out there. It's always tough to tell if Miami's just seeing if someone's going to like blink and give him too much for him, or they actually want to move him. He's not as good as Trey anymore, but he's significantly better than Moses Moody and Kuminga. So upgrade's an upgrade, right? Like, to me, that's really how they need to address it.
Yeah.
They need to look at upgrades to what they were hoping Moody and Kuminga would be, which is the bigger wing, the guy who's going to be tasked with guarding, the bigger playmakers, because they got Melton and Will Richard behind him to guard like the quicker guards. So they're good with that. And then the other part I'd throw into it, I'm not opposed to them getting a Gafford or Robert Williams type. Yeah, they're probably playing 15 minutes a game in the playoffs at most, but there's just so many nights in the regular season where it's like, it would be nice to have Gafford's just energy in there so that they're about to go on the road, and it's going to be a slog from when they go on the road, the 22nd through the All-Star break, basically. It's going to be a slog, and winning the slog is like just having guys like Gafford who play hard every night, who are 26, who aren't, icy hot all over their bodies like the veterans. So,
yeah, I'll take that second point first. Not as into the idea of adding a energy center, especially one that makes a ton of money. Those two players are pretty flawed. I think they're fun to watch when they come to your city and you see them for a night. If you're watching Gafford for 82 games, probably not going to love it. He looks like he should be a great defender. He's not.
No,
Robert Williams, kind of the opposite. He doesn't play. He gets hurt all the time. So making a trade, giving up value for those types of players, I get it, but wouldn't love that type of player, especially if they can't shoot. We know how important it is to have a center who can shoot on this team. So if you're going to go the center route, like guys I like would be more like the Jay Huff type, who is sick.
You do seem like a Jay Huff type guy.
Sick player.
You like his dunks? You like the back?
Big dunk
The
package,
reverse
40% on threes.
only reverses, buddy.
He's a
Only
shooter and
reverses.
he does defend. But why would they? By the way, I've seen you right on him. Why would they want to get rid of him? I guess is the
Well, they're trying to
question.
lose this year. They're taking their gap.
He's helping too much.
Yeah,
Might help too much.
MPJ type problems. Yeah,
He wouldn't cost nothing. Like, he's a good player. Another player, you mentioned Miami, and this is complete speculation, but
Where
when I look at Miami, I look at Kel'el Ware. He's had a bit of a rough patch here. I think his coach has called him out once or twice. I don't know.
no. Another Kuminga. We love that.
Yeah, I don't know if his value might be a little distressed, but he has a ton of talent. He blocks shots. He shoots threes. He's super young and cheap.
By the way, can we just talk about that? Imagine if Steve Kerr did anything that resembled what Spoelstra did with Kel'el Ware last week. That was nuts. I'm so tired of the sentiment among both media and fans that like Kuminga is being and ex-players. By the way, it's all ex-players who are empty stats guys. So no wonder they love Kuminga. But like, I'm so tired of this sentiment where they're like, he's getting a raw deal. It's like his coach is telling him to do something. He won't do it. He gets benched. That's how sports works. You know, that's how it works. In general, Steve's probably too nice about it publicly. I think the whole thing's ran its course too long. But like that narrative that like he's a victim in all this, like I can't get behind that, you know? Generally, championship coaches operate like how Spoelstra operated with that Kel'el Ware press conference, or how Steve Kerr does, which is they have their demands, and if you don't meet it, they're going to move to the next player.
Are we saying that it's Steve Kerr, the number one leader in sports? It's all his fault. Blame him.
How did he get the number? By the way, agreed.
They pulled 5 people.
Leader. Yeah, how did he get the number one leader? Not to say like I have other names. I mean, Steph being third, I think is for sure. That's facts. But Steve is the one. Wow, probably because he did the Team USA coaching is my guess. By the way, Kel'el Ware is named after Kal-El, because I was wondering which is Superman's real name.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that Superman?
Yeah, it is, and I just looked it up. His mom named him after Superman's real name. I'm like, that's interesting. My guess, though, my guess with him not knowing the Miami Heat day to day at all is it is a Kuminga scenario. I bet you he doesn't play defense and doesn't try hard, kind of all the stuff that Kuminga is,
or just ignores the game plan. Let's be honest, that's what it is. Where it's like, this is what we want you to do going into this game, and then he gets the ball. He's like, what if I take a jab step fade away?
Hezzy, baby. Yeah, I bet you that's what he does. But he is. I mean, he's coming into the season. Remember, they were saying, Kel'el Ware was going to be. I mean,
he's very talented.
Damn, yeah, he had some crazy. He's big.
He's had some moments even this year where it pops. Yeah. Even some stretches where he looks awesome for 2-3 weeks at a time, and that's the kind of guy I would take a flyer on
the Warriors. Yeah, but he get benched on the Warriors, Danny. You know this. You've been around the team.
Compare him to the other options that we're talking about, Gafford and Robert Williams. Like, I'd rather have that guy.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I think the Warriors, the team is kind of low upside, right? And Gafford kind of fits that. Robert Williams, same thing, kind of fits that low upside. Like, we know he can play 18 minutes a game. Strong possibility that to me that Miami Superman there doesn't play on this team. So my guess is I haven't seen too much Gafford comments or telling us that Gafford doesn't play any defense. So okay. Good.
I mean, he doesn't. He's an energy guy. It's like a JaVale. Yeah. It's like a JaVale McGee. There is value to those guys, but to your point,
it's a lot of money.
I'm not breaking the bank to acquire one. I just wonder if it's like, if you're not going to play Kuminga, at least that guy does something and will get minutes, even if it's like a GP2 or a Guy Santos, where it's just like, hey, we're playing. Everyone looks low energy. Let's just throw them out there to make some noise,
Well, in general, I think your first point, Sam, that a wing is probably the highest impact, is probably the route that they'd agree with. When you talk about the center spot in the playoffs, you're going to want to play Draymond at center a lot. You're going to bet on him. You're going to bet on Al Horford playing a few more minutes than in the regular season. And
by the way, Al Horford been very good also as well.
Great player. Love watching Al play. Fun player.
Yep.
So on the wing,
he's a great contester. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
how would you guys rank like some of these hypothetical names on the wing? John Collins, DeMar DeRozan, Jeremy Grant,
Oh my God.
Andrew
So
Wiggins, Klay Thompson, like those kind of guys.
Wiggins and Jeremy Grant are the two best options there, and I actually don't know that I would take any of the other ones just because DeRozan doesn't defend. All he's going to do is take the ball out of Steph. Or
God.
they don't really need that type of guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it pains me to say no to Klay. I think I use Klay. I take that back. But like he's not giving you the two-way impact. Like what they I mean, Wiggins is better defensively even in 2026 than Jeremy Grant, but Jeremy Grant's got a little more offensive game to him. But they're both kind of that prototypical 6'7", 7-foot wingspan, can hit open threes, can take it to the rim if you can test them, and can be in a closing lineup. Like that's the big thing, right? Like we're looking for guys who feasibly could be in a closing lineup. So yeah, and Jeremy Grant's contract is worse than Wiggins' contract, but both of their contracts are deemed negative values. I do wonder if because of that, they're more attainable for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's a disgusting contract. We've by the way, Danny, we've
sold
ourselves. We've too many years. We've sold ourselves on Jeremy Grant, by the way. So we're in on him because he's real shooter, maybe like 38, 39% from three. And so we sold ourselves on him. I know he's been out for the calf for a while. Can I do the DeMar thing real quick? Because
nice. It was very nice. I mean, he just destroyed LeBron last night. It was very nice against
we love that.
The Lakers. So
we love that around here.
And he's destroyed the Warriors a couple times.
I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. I'm gonna do the DeMar thing. I don't like him as a player, and I think he's more of like a Chris Paul addition to the team. If they do, I bet you Steph is kind of like, I'm interested. I'm curious because DeMar's been around the block. Players have these weird soft spots for other colleagues and players that they got respect for him, right? Not realizing that these guys aren't good fits. But I will say this: if DeMar is up for it, this team, I know, Danny, you mentioned the team peaking close to the top 10 in three-point shooting. They average the most amount of three-point attempts in the league. They will have a downturn again from three, right? Unless they get some form of Klay Thompson coming back or Trey Murphy. They do need some type of different scoring when things get ugly. I do think Jimmy provides that, but not as consistent as we would like because he's 35. And hopefully Jimmy's all right and he'll come back soon. But I do think DeMar, as a microwave scorer off the bench, giving you 15 to 18 minutes in the late first, early second quarter to keep the game afloat for the Warriors, I think it could be a real boon to the team. The money is disgusting, though, because you're going to have to match the amount of money that he makes. And maybe you get a first from Vivek. I don't know. Maybe you flip that to something else. But I don't think it's nothing. He's not going to close. He's not going to start. He's not going to play 30 minutes a game. But can you, if that's your best option, guys, I don't know if it's that bad. I don't really believe that shit myself, but I'm trying to make the case.
I'm gonna say that's all bullshit. No.
I'm trying to make the case. I don't know if I believed any words I said.
The only non-basketball point I would make is the contract isn't as gross as you might think because it's only partially guaranteed next year.
Yeah.
You can get out of it for $10 million, but yeah,
it's a partial rental
for this team. I like the player a lot. I admired DeMar DeRozan's career, and him as a person is pretty cool. He's been outspoken about a lot of issues, so that's all great. I don't really like his fit on the Warriors team, though.
Yeah,
no, I agree with that. Yeah. All right, Danny, appreciate you being so kind with your time this Sunday morning. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
sfstandard.com. Read me or don't read me, as TK would say. So check it out. Sports section. We're keeping everybody up to date on all things Warriors, all things Niners, Bay Area sports, San Francisco city politics, culture, news, everything you're interested in. We got it at sfstandard.com.
Cool.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Danny.
All right. Thanks, guys.